I made my teacher cry. Story time. When I was in second grade, I had this teacher and she was the devil, and we're gonna name her Miss Jackson. And the reason I call her a devil is because she would say really mean things to me to my face. She would be like, Ty, stop talking like that, you sound like a little girl. Or, your favorite color can't be pink, you have to choose one of the boy colors. And since I was so young, I didn't understand how serious these things were, and I didn't know I can get her in trouble. And I would go home sad like every single day. Eventually my mom noticed and she asked me what was wrong. So I told her some of the things that Miss Jackson would say to me, and my mom was mad. And my mom was like, the next time she says something to you, say something rude back, and if you get in trouble, I'll handle her from there. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. Now, Miss Jackson was a heavy lady, so I knew if I said something rude to her, it would be about her weight. Though we don't body shame around here. We don't do that, okay? So I'm in school eating lunch with my friends who happen to be girls. And Miss Jackson comes up to me and she's like, shouldn't you be eating with the boys? So I looked at her and I was like, shouldn't you be eating a salad? And the lunchroom started laughing and then she started crying.
This is the time my mom faked her death so she didn't have to take care of me and my siblings. Yes, this girl really faked her death. So at the time, I was 5 and my little brother was 3. It started off with my mom saying that she didn't feel well and she couldn't pick me up from school, so the bus would have to take me home. Well, a few months after, she started getting picked up from our house by this black car. She said that car was picking her up because of her so-called doctor's appointments. And she wasn't able to drive herself because she was too sick. But one day, when this car came to pick her up, she never came home. Me and my little brother was sitting around for a couple days waiting for her to come home, but she never came home. And we were young, so we didn't do anything. Eventually, my aunt came over to our house and told my little brother and I that our mom had passed away and that she was cremated and they kept the ashes. So our aunt started taking care of us. Until one day I saw my aunt getting picked up by that same black car. That's when I started to get suspicious of everything and I decided to check these ashes. When I checked, it was flour.
Tell me about one time you intuitively know you were being cheated on without proof.
So I pretty much have the best one. My husband at the time, now ex-husband, I thought he was cheating, and I decided, it was about 2 years we'd been married, and I decided to download one of those apps and catfish him. So I pretended to be another girl, and I started texting him, sending him pictures from a beautiful Facebook that I found, and we planned on meeting at Starbucks on our anniversary, me and my ex-husband's anniversary, and he texted me and said, hey, I'm gonna be late, I'm working and I can't get off in time, blah blah blah, and he proceeded to go to Starbucks. As he was there waiting, I texted him as the girl and said, I'm sorry, I can't do this to your wife, I can't meet you, and he ended up coming home. Part 2 if you want.
Whenever I hear the question, how do I become an artist? I'm reminded of a quote by the late artist and teacher, Howard Ikamoto, who once said, when my daughter was about 7 years old, she asked me one day what I did at work. I told her I worked at the college, that my job was to teach people how to draw. She stared back at me, incredulous, and said, you mean they forget? I love that story. He reminds me of the Picasso quote, every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. Hidden in both these messages is the simple truth that we don't need to become artists. We already are artists. Like an M. Night Shyamalan twist, we've been artists all along. The challenge is to be brave enough not to forget.
Here are the most bizarre things that have ever happened at Disney World.
There was a time where a couple tried to smuggle a baby onto Space Mountain.
A couple was in line to ride Space Mountain when their duffel bag started to make noise, and the couple refused to open it.
So the cast member called security, and when they opened the bag, they saw a 6-month baby inside of it. The baby was okay, but my goodness.
People try to spread their loved one's ashes in the Haunted Mansion.
This actually happens way too often, and cast members have to try and stop it as much as they can.
It causes the ride to shut down temporarily for an emergency ash cleanup.
A husband made a very bizarre announcement at Cinderella's castle.
The family of 4 came in for dinner, and about halfway through, the husband politely stands up
and he announced that his wife of 15 years had been cheating on him. Wow.
In 2007, Tigger punched a teenager in the face.
Apparently the boy was messing with Tigger's costume and Tigger wanted him to stop and he didn't, and then punched him in the face.
My friend and I are 22 and we've known each other since childhood, and we have always been really tight. We're pretty open with each other and there aren't many secrets in our friendship up until now. I'm not gonna lie, he's the golden child of his family and receives a bunch of support from his parents. His younger sister, who is 21, gets it pretty bad and they treat her like shit. About a month ago, I was on OnlyFans and came across a profile and clicked on it. I shit myself and instantly clicked off the profile. I never would have clicked on her profile if I had known it was her, and I wanted to respect her right to be anonymous on the website. I thought about it for a few days and eventually messaged her the following with the intention of helping her out. Hey Belle, this is really awkward for me, and I hope you understand that I'm coming from a place of concern rather than anything else. I came across your OnlyFans the other day when at first I didn't know it was you. I clicked off once I realized. Just a heads up, I could identify you from your tattoos, and I'd hate for your anonymity to be compromised if you continue to post since you have a fake name and all. I suggest blurring out these features, but if you're not bothered by this, then keep doing what you're doing. I just thought I'd touch base to be safe. I hope you're doing well, and again, I hope you understand that I'm just looking out for your safety. See?
So my school found my TikTok, and I found out this morning when I walked into third hour. See, I didn't even get 3 feet within the classroom door before this girl in my class turned around and went, "Waffles, I didn't know you had X amount of followers on TikTok." I was like, And let me tell you, I am not joking when I say I have never wanted to run so fast in my entire life. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to vanish, to disintegrate, to teleport. I wanted to go home. And now she has my TikTok pulled up on her phone. She's passing it around the classroom. She's showing people. And I'm like, oh my God, my day cannot get any worse. How did this happen to me? And also, okay, I'm just gonna say right now, if you are from my school and you are watching this right now, you did not see this, you do not know who I am.
If a fetus is a baby, we should be able to take life insurance out on it. That means if a woman has a miscarriage, she's entitled to a life insurance policy. I've had 6 miscarriages. I would be a millionaire. If a fetus is a baby, men should start paying child support the second that the pregnancy is confirmed. If a fetus is a baby, low-income women should get more food stamps and more welfare for the baby while she's pregnant with them. If a fetus is a baby, we should be able to claim them on our income taxes for that year. If a fetus is a baby, every single state should have a law that makes assaulting a pregnant woman also child abuse. If a fetus is a baby, every single pregnant woman should have gotten a $500 bonus on their stimulus check. But now, because a fetus isn't a baby, you just want to control a woman's reproductive rights.
She was quite lonely until she met a crying mushroom. "Are you a farmer? My siblings and I need a place to stay and grow our food." The rabbit told them about her problem, but the mushroom only shook their head. "There's nothing wrong with you. We can help." When the mushrooms came to live on the farm, the rabbit was no longer lonely, and the plants flourished. Friends at the dinner table was all she needed.
This piece was supposed to be symbolic of consent under the influence. But you guys just made it weird.
Art hacks that I wish somebody told me earlier. I was always told watercolor is permanent. If you mess up, you can't fix it. Well, guess what? You can. Another one, when the vibrant river of my Copic marker ran dry, I thought I had to get a new cartridge. Apparently not, just dump hand sanitizer on it, and it's good as new. I wish I knew this sooner. Do you have cheap acrylic paint that doesn't work very well but you don't want to throw it away? Just heat water and cornstarch until it turns into this thick, goopy consistency. Then just mix a little bit in with your cheaper paint and bam! Look at that. More resources in the bio, happy drawing.
I cut up toy parts just like Sid did in Toy Story and then painted them to make students for a class photo that would be my new album art. And today I'm introducing you to Danny Davis. Danny's one of the smartest kids in school and does well in classes like maths and chemistry. He has a friend at school called Ray Razzie who told Danny he was making a new drug he called fox tears, but still needed one more ingredient, and Danny said that he could get it from his friend whose father was a doctor. So Danny picked up the last ingredient and head over to Ray where he synthesized the drug. He gave Danny a sample and Danny took it the second he got home. Within seconds his heart started racing and his anxiety took a hold of him as he began to panic. Danny's parents weren't home, but he noticed that his neighbor's light was on, so he head over there to get some help and realized that the door was open, and as he entered he walked into a sacrificial den that was covered in blood, with a small child holding a lamb and a pentagram above his head. As Danny moved closer, a cloaked figure came up from behind him and stabbed him in the back. This is a character from my new album art, first single out December 11th.
When I started considering art as a career, I never imagined that I would become the artist I am today. I never imagined my art becoming funky and abstract and full of wonderful mushrooms. And I never really imagined myself becoming the person I am today either. With my paintings, I can never really imagine where they'll end up, but they always end up in the right place. So I'll take it.
This is a tiny book that I made of a layered alien landscape. I imagined a society that sent a spaceship of artists out into the universe to find habitable planets and describe them meaningfully to the people back on Earth. Because the spaceship would have limited space, this book is very small, 1 by 3 inches, and it comes in a tidy envelope that shows the planet from afar. Number 193.
So a lot of you have asked to see me redraw the Rapunzel design that I did when I was 12. Okay, let's do it. I did my best to stay true to the original concept while still maintaining my current aesthetic. I kept the bubble braids, the lace-up sleeves, and her pretty pearl detailing. But for comparison's sake, this is the original Rapunzel design, and here is the version that I did today. And before you say anything, I know she looks like Elsa, but I chose her color palette way before Frozen was even a thing.
This is a nice audio for artists so they don't have to use those guilt-tripping ones anymore. Hey, I'm an artist, and I made this, and it's pretty freaking cool. And I know you're somebody who appreciates art, because clearly you have good taste, and I wind it up on your For You page by you using this audio. And I'm just kicking back doing my thing. I do all this art just to make myself happy, but if it makes you happy too, that would make my day. So enjoy the rest of your scrolling. Whether you like this or not, I'm sure you are...
I made this impish devil doll with more points of articulation than I usually use to really take advantage of a larger, creepier range of motion. His tail, midsection, and every joint of his limbs can rotate. Even his jaw can open, and he has a detachable tongue that can connect to the same hinge. He also has an alternate head that's a little goofier, for when he takes full advantage of all the dance moves that this much articulation allows for. If you're still watching at this point, well, I'm sorry.
For the last 2 days, I've been painting over this thrift store painting of an old barn. When I'm all done with it, it's gonna look like an abandoned barn, but for right now, I just start with the graffiti, and the graffiti at first looks really saturated and almost too bright and doesn't match the painting, but by the time I'm done and I go through and I break the barn all up and I redo all the details on the entire barn, the painting as a whole is gonna be uniform again, and the graffiti will look like it's actually supposed to be there. Follow so you can see it finished.
Yes, one of my favorite parts of abandoned places is when nature starts to take back over. I always wait until the end of the painting to add the overgrowth. Then I decide where things are likely to grow. I find the blooming of new life through nature to be even more elegant against the contrast of decay. Mother Earth's way of telling us that nothing is permanent, but we can grow through change.
Okay, so I have 3 hours to do this homework project. This is the prototype. This is going to be the actual thing. It's called an accordion book. I have to draw this from life, so here we go. Got the outline and I'm starting to color. Now I'm going to outline it with a pen. Let's cut it out. Here's this photo frame. I added highlight. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut this one out. Do like another picture frame. Cut it out. One more left. Done. Here's the last one. Here's the reference. Here they are all together. I'm gonna put them on here now. I'm now coloring the background of the book. Just finished the background. Now I'm going to Mod Podge it to seal it. I'm going to set this aside to dry. I'm going to cover these in felt. This is the cover, by the way. Folded the flaps in, and now I have a nice cover. Here are the front and back covers. Let's put these on now. 45 minutes left. Just glued them on, and here's the finished product. Here it is spread out. I finished it in time for class, and my classmates really liked it.
I want to make a little table with maybe some like maps and things on it. I just Googled fantasy maps. I put them on a Google Doc, I shrank them down, and I printed it off. I'm going to carefully tear these out. And I am just going to age this with some washes. Just a light brown wash here first. I'm going to go in with a darker wash now and just sort of tap around the edges. I kind of want to put these on scrolls with the fancy toothpicks. Dip all these into my black wash. So I have that. Attach them to these maps and roll them up a bit. Roll that up a little bit. And there's that. I imagine a little black market wares shop would have some thieves' maps of the city or important places, and very simple and effective way to accomplish that.